I'm your comedian and I am here to take all your pain. See, I live in the eye of a hurricane. It's only vibrations I'm sending in waves. I'm your dealer and healer as your sorrows I sell jokes for clown, and I'll never run out, 'cause this is the world of boy and girl. Heartbreak, love unfurled, and there's sadists and rapists, and you need to pay this and that. And that makes your mom real sick, and you want to rage and tell that nurse she's a dick. So you gotta see me, 'cause I am free. I'm the right kind of fucked up, or I'm only happy if everyone's happy around me.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, you beautiful 10 out of 10s. But just like the copyrighted intro music said, I am your comedian. And welcome to the greatest, the most powerful podcast with the most spectacular copyrighted intro and outro music, may I add, no big deal, on the planet. This is the Anti-George Cron podcast, and I'm your ridiculously attractive and superiorly handsome and comedic host, Ross of Nazareth. Ross of Nazareth, is he some kind of religious zealot? Get him! Shut him up now! Guys, it's me. Remember? I'm Ross of Nazareth. I was raised Catholic. You understand what I'm saying? I was raised Catholic and molested Southern Baptist. Come on, folks. Come on. I still got it. He's a wild man comedian. And you can see this wild man comedian at John and Peter's. Shameless plug. John and Peter's outside of Philadelphia. Isn't that easy to remember? A place called New Hope, PA, at 9 p.m. this Friday. I'm recovering from being a little bit under the weather. I had COVID. Me getting COVID, no big deal. You give COVID to someone I care about, damn son of a guns in the government. I think this is all from bat soup. Remember eating bat soup? Wasn't that the craziest lie that they force-fed down our gullets here? Anyways, what's happening? You're a beautiful 10 out of 10. That's what's happening. That is what's happening. You're a 10 out of 10. You came into this world a 10 out of 10. You follow me? You're going to leave a 10 out of 10. And everything in between of coming into this world a 10 out of 10 and leaving a 10 out of 10, we just kind of forget that we're a 10 out of 10. And there's so many ways you can get pulled under into a very low frequency consciousness state these days with the 3-second news cycles. That's crazy. It used to be 3 minutes. Now it's 3 seconds. People forget. We're like meerkats, confused. Trump's coming in. Oh, Candace Owens. Who's Candace Owens? I don't know. She says someone in France is gay and trans. Can you believe this stuff? Who cares? If you know you're a 10 out of 10, right? You came in this world 10 out of 10. You're going to leave a 10 out of 10. You're beautiful. We just forget. And if you're anything like me, I forget all the time that I'm a 10 out of 10. So here's your reminder. You are beautiful. You came in this world a 10 out of 10. You're going to leave 10 out of 10. That's the truth. That's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. But they don't want you to know this stuff. Like last podcast, I was talking about consciousness and love, and I heard sirens. Get him. Is he a religious zealot? Ross and Nash was talking about consciousness and love. Shut him up now. It's like, I'm not John Lennon. I'm not Martin Luther King. I'm just some dumb comedian. But you can't talk about consciousness, although it's the most fascinating subject matter that human beings have. Why can't you talk about it? I don't know. They're trying to limit this discussion and make it almost a secret since the Egyptian times. Even in the 1960s, people thought it was the psychedelic substances they're trying to ban. It's LSD, it's mescaline, it's peyote, it's mushrooms. They have to ban these substances. It's not the substances. It's what the substances elicited in your consciousness. There's a transformation trajectory that aligns you more with spiritual principles and love. That's what it is. And I don't believe you have to take mushrooms or you have to microdose to get to that place, because you are the answer. They just point you towards it. That's all it does. And sometimes it's even a false sense of enlightenment. But more often than not, you remember, if you will. You remember what you are and who you are, and you are what you're seeking. It's not something external that you're seeking right now, and I'm going to be okay if I only can get this something outside of myself. You're already a 10 out of 10. So the fact that the mere fact that you're trying to seek something outside yourself is reinforcing the fact that you do not believe that you are a 10 out of 10. You do not believe that you are whole. It reinforces it. I'm not whole. I'm not whole. I have to go to 1,000 yoga classes. I have to do this and this and this, and then I'll be okay. That's reinforcing the fact that you don't think you're whole, when that's not the truth. The truth is that you are whole. And I think there is an awakening going on. I'm glad to be a part of the awakening that's happening around the world. But more and more people are, there's even Timothy Leary had a cool quote. It was turn on, tune in, drop out. That's pretty sick, because what are you getting from this 3-second news cycle? Nothing. And it's such a distraction. And more men, apparently, I don't know if this is true or not me, but aren't having sex, aren't getting married, aren't having kids, which I think is horrible. Horrible, but it poses the question to young men that are listening. Why would you do something traditional like get married? Why would you do something traditional like meet someone's parents, which I recently did? The short answer, and this is coming from a comedian that has intimacy problems like most comedians, and comedians, a lot of male comedians suffer from the one night stand syndrome, the meaningless sex, the soulless sex, and why? Who cares? It's just everything's a joke, and aren't we just here a short time? We should just have some fun, right? But the problem is that's a fantasy, and I don't want to be alone. And that recipe calls for you being alone, having a lonely existence. That's the short answer to that. But to give you a convincing long answer, here's a comedic story that is 100% true. So in fourth and fifth grade, we go to something called Spears Algebra. It was in Nazareth, PA. He's from Nazareth, get him! I live in Bethlehem now. No big deal. But I was in Nazareth going to elementary school. And in fourth grade, I'm still trying to figure out if Santa Claus was a psyop. I don't know anything. I'm in fourth grade, right? And all I know is we get launched off this blob. And if you don't know what a blob is, there's like a lake, there's an inflatable plastic material, and you essentially get launched into low orbit. You're like human popcorn that's going off one of those French catapult, the trebuchet. I know French, ladies and gentlemen. So you're getting launched out of this catapult. And my friend Danny's third cousin or something, he should have never made it past birth. I remember we walked him home, and his parents said one day, and I was in fourth grade, I don't even remember what disease he had, but his parents said that he came out in the shape of a pretzel, whatever that means, during birth. He was a fighter. He was truly a fighter. He shouldn't have been here. He had a life expectancy as long as a Game Boy battery, right? He was going to die, and his parents were given... Wow. His parents were given the choice to keep their son, who just fought for 30 hours to be alive as a baby, or not. And I think they did the respectable thing by keeping their kid. By the way, he's no longer with us. He died when I was like 23. But the first year, it made me emotional thinking about that. So fourth grade year, he gives this speech, I wasn't supposed to talk. By the way, he can't move. He's in a wheelchair. It's like a war chariot. What am I? He's doing like a pediatric Tokyo drift. He's strapped in with buckles like it's Fast and the Furious. He's hauling ass. We had to like walk him home, and he's going faster than us. So he's in a war chariot. And he gives a speech like, I shouldn't be here. I could never, I wasn't even supposed to talk. I don't know if I'm going to be here until I'm 13. Like, his life expectancy was so little. Everyone's crying with their Capri Suns, in 4th grade. We get launched off this blob. The next year, he gives the same speech, only there's a plot twist, a supreme plot twist. He goes, that's why I'm strapping myself in this year. My parents gave the okay. And he says parents, which is untrue, not true at all. They freaked out. So what they did with this kid was they strapped him to this metal thing. I was standing up on it, and you would get a little bit more airborne when he hit the blob. And they strapped him in, and he weighs like 40 pounds, and he can't move besides his arms. And he does look like a SpongeBob in Mad Max almost. So they strap him in, and I'll never forget this. When they launched him, he cleared the blob. No, just kidding. He just cleared he went over the mountains. I'm kidding. So he hit the blob, and everyone started clapping. I don't know why that makes me so emotional, but he didn't care about extending the clock. He lied. He lied to everyone. He lied to the teachers. He cared about launching himself. And that's the message I'm trying to give to the young kids. Like, life isn't about how long you are here. It's about whether you're willing to launch yourself into life while you are. That's what life is about. And if you needed a reason to go after something, or to get married, or do something that in your heart you probably should, but you're like, oh, the government, I don't want to sign a governmental contract between me and someone else. What's going on? The unromantic comedian bits that people do. That's so unromantic. But go ahead, get on that blob, fly like the pediatric dude in the wheelchair that's doing Tokyo Drifts. Fly like the SpongeBob and Mad Max with jet fueled catapult. That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do in life. And life ends for everybody, so you might as well make it interesting. So have some guts, kids. That's what I'm saying. Have some guts. Go after what you want. And that's a pretty cool story.
And she's like a princess that even Mario couldn't pull. And I'm like a werewolf cursing the constellations when the moon is full. I used to think Disney was for kids, just the fact that it's whack like this laugh track in the back. But can't you find the deepest part of this monster's heart instead of coloring it all black? I am a sharp thing, bloodstained, self-sabotage and monstrosity. But she changed my diet and my werewolf side, it disappeared magically. But I know I still smell pretty bad right now. I don't know etiquette, but she always